Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what to do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go back at you with another one of my boys, Vlad and Barry. What's poppin', y'all?
Yo, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How we doing? I'm doing great, and excited, and feeling good as always, and ready for another great episode of Pro Fan Sports Podcast. So we are officially on to episode 64.
Episode 64, man. We're close to 100. We'll get there, but episode 64.
Slowly but surely.
I was looking. I didn't see anybody that I recognize or anything like that. I saw Richard Bishop. I'm like, who?
Right.
Apparently, he's a former Patriot, and he was on the defensive line. He played 1976 to 81. Like Richard Bishop, I don't know who that is.
Right. I was able to somehow, guys, come up with 3 notable names for this number. This was a pretty tough number to come up with notable names for. So the guys that I came up with are Jerry Kramer, former offensive lineman with the Packers and their glory days when they had Lombardi and Bart
I vaguely know his name.
Right. Because this is going way back.
Yeah.
In the days. So I even had to look that up because I didn't even know who he was until I looked it up and did my research on him. So he was a Hall of Famer. Was one of the best offensive linemen and guards to play this game. And
who else you got?
And so I got a couple other guys here. We got also Randall McDaniel. So he's another offensive lineman who played in the league. He's actually pretty good, and actually he's in the Hall of Fame. Believe it or not, it was an All-Pro.
It's not our era. I don't know.
He played for a while, I think like 12, 13 years with the Vikings, career. And had a really good and successful NFL career. And then the last one I had is J.C. Trader. So
J.C. Trader?
Yeah, it's spelled Tretter. So he
like trader or treader?
Treader, yeah, right. There you go, John. Thanks for the help on the pronunciation. Yeah, I know I might have messed up on that, but he's actually currently plays in the NFL. He's the starting center for the Cleveland Browns.
You don't say.
All
right,
guys.
Who you got?
Richie Incognito.
Ooh. Is he 64? How is his name?
I thought he was another number. He
must be blackballed or something because his name didn't come up anywhere. They must have they're like, Richie, we don't even want to be associated.
Right.
He plays for the Raiders and he's 60.
He's still playing?
Oh, wow, he's still in the league.
That's
I
crazy.
thought he retired or no one picked him up.
Well, he hasn't been in trouble in a couple of years, so we forgot about him.
So, right, exactly. He's not relevant anymore, right, since his name hasn't been out there, recently. So, yeah, I even forgot that he still played in the league. That's crazy.
That was a good one, Vlad. Good one.
That is good. Good call, Vlad.
Well, on to episode 64. And like always, please make sure you're liking this video, you're sharing it, you're commenting. That helps the channel out. And please, we're on social media. Come join us. We're on Instagram, profans_sports. We're on Twitter, @profansports. We're on Facebook.com/profansports. And then, of course, YouTube.com/profansports. Our episodes drop every Tuesday. On all platforms. Any platform, just write our names, go there. And then our videos drop every Tuesday Every Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're helping the channel out. And we're on to episode 64. We're going to be talking about, some of the NBA news. If you want to hear about Celtics, and everything they got going on, we actually have a separate show that you can actually go and watch. We actually had special guest Max Letterman on the show. Thank you again, Max, for coming on and talking Celtics and discussing that. So, we discussed Celtics in depth in that special segment right there. So go catch it.
Make sure you check it out. We talked about Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens. We talked about the end of the season, what went wrong. So make sure you check that interview out. It's pretty good. Thank you, Max, again for coming on, actually.
Fact, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
On this episode 64, we're going to get into the rest of the NBA, see what happened, with the playoff schedule. Then we're going to get into the NFL, some of the news that's happening there. A big trade just happened.
Big news happened.
We'll let you know about
news.
that. On to the Red Sox and MLB, what's going on there, and the Bruins in the playoffs, and we'll get you guys we'll get you guys caught up. But first, we're going to go into the NBA where, we just pretty much – is the first round over? There's one more game for the first round to be over, which is the 76ers. By the time you hear this episode, the game will be over. We'll know who it is. But on Sunday, the Mavs versus the Clippers for Game 7. We'll see who moves on to the second round. But for the first round, we saw Milwaukee Bucks took out Miami 4-0. Clippers and Mavs is tied 3-3. Of course, like we're saying, the 76ers took care of the Wizards 4-1. The Hawks took care of the Knicks 4-1 as well. The Celtics got taken care of by Brooklyn Nets 4-1, and the Jazz took out the Grizzlies 4-1 as well. Nuggets took out Portland, and Damian Lillard 4-2, and then of course the Lakers got taken out by the Suns 4-2. Some NBA news, Anthony Davis actually went out in that game after re-aggravating his groin in Game 6 against the Suns. And that pretty much was it for the Lakers right there. They were taken out. LeBron James loses the first round matchup of his career in the playoffs, since he's been going to the playoffs. So there's that. Joel Embiid, he has a small meniscus tear in his right knee. He left Game 4 against the Wizards with that tear. But since then, he has come back, I believe, in the first game where he's started against the Hawks, which is actually being played right now as we record. So by the time you hear this podcast, you will know which one took the game, and it looks like the Hawks are going to take it, because they're up big right now. We'll see what happens with that. Terry Stotts, the coach of Portland Trail Blazers, they mutually parted ways. So now the Blazers are looking for a head coach. Jason Kidd seems to be a front runner for that job. We'll see what happened. Their star Damian Lillard say that's the person he wants, so we'll see.
There's been some update in regarding to that situation. So apparently, Jason Kidd, just today earlier before we started recording,
just accepted.
Podcast, no, he didn't accept. He withdrew his name from the head coaching candidacy.
He withdrew his name.
Of the Portland Trailblazers. So he's not going to be the coach of the Portland Trailblazers, and Damian Lillard's not going to get the guy that he wants to coach. The team. So he will not accept an interview at all with the Trailblazers.
That's crazy because that could only mean two things, right? That could mean what's his name? Frank Vogel is out of a job and he's staying with the Lakers. Or Jason Kidd already has his eyes on another franchise that he'd like to go to at the time. Which one could be more? Which one you think is more possible right now?
Well, he might have his eye on another team. I don't know why he wouldn't want to go to the Portland Blazers. And I
like the Celtics.
I don't want that team to be the Celtics.
No, I hear what you're saying, Vlad. I think, with Jason Kidd, I think the, dealers with him that he probably is going for another position, another, head coaching, position that, he thinks he would be a better fit for him. And, and would want to pursue. I kind of think, the factors of, Damian Lillard not sure if how long he wants to stay, in Portland was, I think, one of the biggest reasons for him not to, even want to interview for the job, since there's uncertainty in that regard. So, I mean, with you, glad I'm hoping that Jason Kidd doesn't come here and doesn't, be the next head coach of the Celtics, because I definitely don't want to see that happen. I don't, think it would be a good fit, and he'd be the right, coach for the job to get us to, the next level where we want to get to. But I think certainly he's looking for a head coaching job somewhere. I didn't even think of him getting it with LA. I don't know. I'm surprised you even mentioned that, John. I didn't think that they would even be looking to fire Frank Vogel. I mean, he just did win a championship last year, and I know he didn't do a good job this year and stuff, but I think they would at least keep him around for another year or so, and and see what happens, with the team, next season.
I mean, two of the biggest jobs you can get, right? Like Boston Celtics or the LA Lakers, man. Two big markets and two places that are, pretty much polarized in whatever they're trying to do out there. Some more news. Alex Rodriguez would like to move the Minnesota Timberwolves to Seattle. If people didn't know,
really?
Yeah. Alex Rodriguez.
That? Wow, I did not catch that. Wow.
Yeah, Alex Rodriguez was drafted by the Seattle Mariners, so there's a little connection to that right there.
Said, makes sense now.
It makes sense, that the news comes out that he wants them to do that right there. But we'll see what happens with that. And then Damian Lillard was selected by the players for the 2021 Twyman Stokes Teammate of the Year award for on and off the court leadership. So, there's no better leader than Damian Lillard. So shout outs to him. But, as we saw the first round go by, did you guys get any surprises? Anything that you liked, anything, what's your predictions moving forward?
Well, I didn't expect the Hawks to beat the Knicks the way they did. I thought that was going to be a closer matchup.
We saw a lot come out of that, right? We saw, Trae Young get spat on. We saw the mayor of New York talking about stop hunting for fouls. We saw Trae Young's dad come out in the media, saying things. We saw, the fans come out and make fun of Trae Young's hair. We saw the bow, at the end when these guys got taken out. We saw guarantees, by the Hawks players. We heard comments from D Rose, about how things should be in the NBA. That was a pretty crazy series.
It was a spicy series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
real
absolutely.
Of course, the Lakers being out crazy. The Clippers, we don't know I expected the Mavs to give them some work, but not as much work as they've been giving them. And yeah, I mean the playoffs been exciting this year, to be honest. I think in previous years it's been very dominant. Who's gonna go through, but this year I feel as though there's been a little bit of a surprise, especially with the Lakers out, and we know that the Golden State Warriors didn't make it, but them not being there at all, it's different this year.
Yeah, I know it's definitely a wild and pretty crazy first round. In both conferences. I actually wasn't too surprised about the Suns beating the Lakers just for the simple fact that I know the Lakers were going through a lot of injuries, particularly with LeBron and AD both being banged up and not being close to 100% or it should even 95%. So I think that certainly was a huge factor and huge reason why they did end up getting eliminated by the Suns, but I mean, not to take anything away from the Suns, because I thought the Suns played great, in that series and deserved to win. I thought, Devin Booker, has shown that he is a superstar and an elite talent and an elite player in this league, and that he, definitely belongs on this stage without question, and that can actually be a number one player on a winning team in the playoffs. I think he certainly proved that, to be the case, in that series. And, the other guys that chipped in as well, like, Chris Paul, even though he was injured, he still, I think it was like Ebua that he started to get his rhythm back, and he started to feel better with the shoulder. He played well. DeAndre Ayton has come a long way. That dude's a beast, man. He killed it and dominated, the paint.
He's showing out. He's showing out right now.
They sure did in that series. So he's definitely, Chris Paul's had a big effect on him and brought the best out of him, because he's taken a huge jump in his game, and definitely is a much different and better player than what he was a year ago. And the rest of that team's really good as well. They got good role players on there that know their role and they play well. Surprised by the Bucks and the Heat, the fact that it was so lopsided and so it was so dominated by the Bucks, and that the Heat just didn't seem competitive in that series at all and got absolutely annihilated. But by them, I definitely did not see that coming. I thought that would be a much competitive series that was going to go at least 6 games, if not 7, particularly since the Heat, they swept them last year in the bubble and showed that they can definitely be a good enough team to to beat the Bucks, and that definitely wasn't the case this year. They didn't play well at all. Particularly Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero. Like, what happened to those guys, particularly Tyler Hero?
I think that's the guys. I think that's the guys Jason Tatum was talking about in that interview. Remember, he's like, "Yo,
oh yeah,
there was guys in the bubble. It's like, yo, you playing different." It's like,
right, like
you ain't never balled out like that
play.
before.
Like, what is going on?
This ain't how you normally play.
Right, like, this is not his game. Right.
This guy, remember, dude from the Pacers. You know,
T.J. Warren, right.
Like, he was playing like Jordan over there.
I saw that interview. That was hilarious. I was dying and laughing my ass off when I saw him say that. But I mean, shoot, as funny as that, sounded him saying that, it's actually true. A lot of guys in the bubble played a lot better than what they usually play, under a normal season and under normal
duress.
Circumstances. Right, exactly. When there's actually a lot more pressure, on you, and there's actually, fans and in the stands and at the game. So we've definitely seen, a lot of these guys, their true colors come out, this year, now that, things are getting closer back to normal with the NBA and, fans being allowed back into the arenas. So I think, definitely that was, probably my biggest surprise, out of the, the first round. I was a little bit surprised about the Hawks and Knicks series. I knew that the Hawks were going to win that series, but not, the way that, they did. I didn't think it was going to be, dominant performance by, by Atlanta, and and that they certainly got a good team out there. Like Trae Young, we already know what he is and what he can do, and he certainly balled out and showed that he's a guy that belongs on the stage and a superstar in this league that can definitely be able to carry a team in the playoffs. And those other guys played well, too, around him and did their thing. So I think those were certainly my, biggest surprises and predictions. Do we want to predict the Clippers series now, or do we want to save that for later? I'll do just a quick prediction with that. I think the Clippers should win, but I kind of have a feeling the Mavs will win this game 7 today. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think I don't think we'll be surprised if either team wins with the way that series has gone to this point.
Yeah, I mean, Barry pretty much covered everything else, that needs to be covered as far as the first round. But I was definitely surprised by the Hawks' performance for sure. Surprised by the Miami Heat's performance just because they didn't even get one win. I'm like, well, you guys went into the finals last year. You know what I'm saying? Just because of that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you guys couldn't muster one win. I didn't,
right.
The way it looked like, the Milwaukee Bucks didn't forget last year. And they came in like, don't play with our food. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that game one was just, I thought game one was going to set the tone for the series because that game went over to overtime. And that's what misled me.
Right.
If they had won that game not in overtime, I would have understood. But after that overtime, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a battle. But it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Jason Tatum do his thing in the playoffs. He didn't have much help with the Celtics. So, but another surprise, the young guys are stepping up on their teams and taking their teams to the next level right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about Donovan Mitchell. You know what I mean? I'm talking about Devin Booker. We see them playing, out of their minds in the playoffs, and you can see clearly what that does when you have help on your team to get where you're going and stuff like that. So, so now we're on to the second round where we see the Milwaukee Bucks are facing the Nets, and they've already played game one, and the Nets took that game. James Harden left the game in the first quarter with a hamstring issue. He was previously out indefinitely with that hamstring issue, so that's potentially concerning. But we still saw the Nets took that first game, and then we got 76ers versus Atlanta Hawks, like we said earlier, and the Hawks look like they're doing their thing. Utah Jazz versus the Clippers or the Mavs after the game 7 is decided, and then we're gonna see Denver Nuggets and Phoenix Suns, man. What are y'all predictions, and what's your favorite matchup in this lineup right now?
So Denver is playing the
Suns.
The
Suns, Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great matchup. Devin Booker, I mean, he's the guy to watch for. I don't know. I think Denver is gonna take it. I think Jokic. I just think he was one of the MVP candidate this year. And I just think he's just too good. So I think I'm gonna pick Denver for that matchup.
That's certainly a fascinating and exciting matchup. Coming up with the Nuggets and the Suns, and now it's even another surprise team that we didn't even get to talk about with the Nuggets beating the Blazers. I thought the Blazers would win that series, and Damian Lillard wouldn't be out the first round, but they the Nuggets were the better team, and they played better than the Blazers, and they deserved to win that series. But with that having been said, just getting to the series, I think there's a lot of really good matchups with the bigs, DeAndre Ayton and Jokic. You got Devin Booker, and Chris Paul in the backcourt, and then you got some savvy guys with the Nuggets that aren't as well known, but they play hard and they're gritty and scrappy, as well. So they definitely bring that to the table, and I think it's definitely gonna be a tough series, and a really competitive series. I'd probably shoot, if I had to say, I'd go with the Suns and the series. I think that win this in 7 games. I think it'll go. It should go 7 if both teams play well and play the way they're capable of. But definitely wouldn't be surprised if the Nuggets do win this series. If Jokic continues to play at an MVP level that he's played at, not only in the regular season, but also in that series against Portland, because they had no answer for him and couldn't stop him. And I feel like if he can dominate that matchup and dominate the paint against DeAndre Ayton, that's certainly a big plus for Denver as well. So but I think also an X factor would be Aaron Gordon in that series. I think he has to step up more, and help out, with scoring and being more aggressive and more of a factor offensively for the Nuggets for them to, win this series. So, it's certainly an exciting matchup. And then the Bucks and the Nets I think it's a good series. I think we all expect the Nets to win, but I think that, could be a really good, fun, competitive series to watch that can go at least 6 games. And the Bucks should give them a run for their money. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the rest of that series played out, since they, both teams played pretty well in Game 1 on Saturday.
You think the Bucks are gonna give them a run for their money?
I think it will be a competitive series. I think they'll, compete and play hard, and it won't be an easy series for the Brooklyn Nets. But I think definitely the Nets will still end up winning the series, but it'll be definitely tougher. On this series, on this round for the Nets, and obviously the first round that they had. I think the Bucks are a formidable opponent for the Nets, and can definitely be able to could compete and and stay in games, and it'll be relatively close. But all in all, I think that definitely the Nets will end up coming out on top and winning the series. But it definitely won't be like I would be surprised if it's like a 4 or 5 game series. I think it's going at least 6 games, because I think the Bucks do have enough talent to play with the Nets. But as far as beating them, I still don't think they have quite enough just yet. Even with Harden being out, I still expect the Nets to win this series. But we'll see what happens. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the rest of the series plays out.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely think since Harden's out, that makes that series a little more interesting. I feel like the last game, one of the last games we saw the Nets and Milwaukee Bucks played, I think Giannis had like 44 points, and
He had like
KD
49,
scored like something around there, and KD had like 42. Yeah, and that was pretty exciting. And I think Milwaukee can muster up some performances out there, and I think if they don't win it this year, man, they're not gonna win it, because the Nets are gonna come back stronger next year, man. You know what I'm saying? With a year under the belt of the big 3 right there, and everybody's gonna be there at least another year. So I think if the Bucks don't win it out this year, or don't actually make it a series, then their window is actually closing pretty good. And the Jays are coming into their prime there. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see what happens with that. But I think for sure the Denver Nuggets for Sun series is interesting. If the Clippers win against the Mavs and go versus the Utah Jazz, then I feel like that series is going to be very, very interesting, because the Clippers were supposed to be the number 2 out of the West, and they were predicted to be like going into the finals and things like that. And I think the experience from last year has catapulted the Jazz into what they were this year. They pretty much were the number 1 team throughout this season in all of the NBA. And, with Spider Mitchell playing like he is, I definitely got an eye out for Utah and see what they're doing over there. But Did you guys actually give me your predictions for Milwaukee Bucks versus the Nets? Who comes out of that? Nets or Bucks? Just real quick.
Well, Barry picked the Nets.
You picked the Nets?
I'm picking the Nets as well.
Yeah, me too.
I know, unfortunately, as much as I don't want to,
but shit,
right, me either. But we gotta, be realistic and keep.
You gotta be smart here.
Right, exactly, and show people that we know what we're talking about. Right.
These guys are playing 3 Hall of Famers, people. Like 3 Hall of Famers. It's not just All Stars. Like it's Kyrie, KD, and Harden. They're Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And it may be even Blake Griffin, dude. Like so. Listen, they're gonna win.
Right, exactly. People keep forgetting about him, and then he drops 18 and 14 like it's nothing, right? And
for real,
and exactly, and absolutely, has a great performance. So it's like he's like an afterthought now, with those top 3 guys, and KD, Kyrie, and Harden, and even if Harden misses a good amount of time in the series, it's like I still
KD and Kyrie can do
Kyrie
this,
will
man.
still hold down the fort. Exactly.
They were doing it before the trade happened.
Right. Exactly. Right. Even though they didn't play together that much, but when they did, they balled out and were dominating. Right. Exactly. No one could stop them and slow them down. So now it's definitely it's inevitable. I think that the Nets are gonna move on in this series. But I mean, I hope the Bucks can surprise us.
Facts, man. 76ers or Atlanta? That's a hard one.
That is tough.
I'm going to pick the Sixers.
This will actually surprise you. I'll pick the Hawks.
I'm going to go with the Hawks, too, just because of that meniscus situation with Joel Embiid, man. And I don't think he's 100%. I think at this point, like, if he's not getting, the 30, 15 games, then he's a decoy right now because he's not at 100%. And
let me ask you a question, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
How many points you think? Because as we're recording right now, they're playing. How many points you think he got?
I don't know. I'm not watching the game, so
no, I know, but
hopefully he got 30.
He has 28 right now. Fourth quarter just started.
Yeah. What's the score there?
They're losing by 17, but
good Lord.
Yeah. No.
So you tell me even with a game, like I said, they're losing by 17. So I'm gonna pick the Hawks on this one.
I'm the only one picking the Sixers, so we'll see who comes out on top.
I'm picking the Hawks.
We'll see what happens with that series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Embiid's balling out, and they still getting their asses whooped.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so I'm not gonna ask you guys about Utah versus whoever wins the game between Mavs and Clippers. By the time you hear this episode, you'll know.
You can ask who we think will win that series.
Okay. Who do you guys think will win? Well, you already said, Dan. You already said Barry. So Vlad, who do you think? Because remember, you did your prediction. Who's going to win versus the Mavs and the Clippers at the beginning?
Well, yeah, the Mavs and the Clippers, but not for the next series against
Well, we
Utah.
don't know who the next series is, right?
True. So, no, I already said mine. Go ahead, Black.
Yeah, I think the Clippers are moving on. And then the Clippers are going to face the Jazz. And I think the Clippers are moving on from that as well.
Oh, man. I'm a gamble and go with the Mavs on this one. I'm gonna gamble and go with the Mavs. And if the Mavs
going
make
out on
it,
the limb, okay, John.
Yeah, because the road team has won all the games, and Luka's he's been unstoppable.
Ooh,
and
a savage, man.
If Porzingis drops 20, then they take the game. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Right, he just needs some help scoring, right? From either Porzingis or Tim Hardaway Jr. If one of those two can give you a good 20 to 25, then you're straight. No, without question. But I was just gonna say, I did say the Clippers are gonna win this game against the Mavs. I think that Utah will beat the Clippers in the next round. I think Utah is going to advance and go into the Western Conference Finals and beat the Clippers in the semifinals.
Utah is actually my team to come out the West, man. So I agree with that right
Not
there.
a bad pick, right?
I agree with that
looking
right there.
like Western Conference contenders without question
Right.
if they keep playing the way they're playing.
So Denver, so Nuggets versus Suns. Who you guys got?
Oh, we already did that.
I think we already
did
picked
that?
Yeah.
I didn't pick. I don't think I picked.
Go ahead, John.
So I'm gonna take Phoenix just the way they've been playing this whole season, bro. Number 2 in the West. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go with the Suns on this one.
Right, and just a quick point. I think from winning that series against the Lakers, I think now the Suns have all the confidence, in the world that they can beat, any team. They're not going to be, phased by any team, and they feel like, we can beat the defending champs, and particularly on their home court and close that series out, in the Staples Center in LA. Then we can beat anybody. So I think this team's really, playing together and and playing with with a lot of confidence, and on their the sky's the limit for them if they continue to do that moving forward.
Yeah, man. I mean, LeBron's out of the playoffs, so anything's possible now, right? A lot of things are possible
And the words
right
of
now.
KG, anything is possible. Yeah.
For real, man. So let's pivot on to the NFL right now, man. So the 2022 Hall of Fame candidates were announced, and so it goes as follows: Marshawn Lynch, Andrew Luck, Reggie Bush, Julius Peppers, Marvin Harrison, Tony Gonzalez, Champ Bailey, Dwight Freeney. Any surprises on here?
No, but that's a good list. They got some good ones.
Andrew Luck and Reggie Bush.
Except for him.
Reggie Bush.
Except for him too. Right. Besides those two, the other ones are that.
Everybody else on this list is a Hall of Famer, but Reggie Bush and Andrew Luck.
Yeah, both of those guys need to get out of here.
All right, who made this list?
Right. No, they don't belong there. Right.
Those guys should never make it.
Reggie Bush has the greatest highlight tape in college history. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him that. And he probably, he has a really good highlight tape, but I don't think his career, his entire career, puts him into the Hall. Like, I don't believe there was one year where Reggie Bush was like the best running back in the league.
Never.
No, it wasn't. Not even close.
He was one of the most exciting. One of the most exciting,
Yeah. Reggie Bush. Yeah, no, he doesn't belong in there.
Yeah, no,
definitely not. Nah, absolutely not. There's no way in hell Reggie Bush should be a Hall of Famer, and right, or even be a candidate at all. I'm, appalled by that and stunned. That's unreal. Well, yeah, unbelievable. But I mean, Andrew Luck, I can see, because even though he didn't win anything, he was a pretty damn good quarterback when he was healthy, and he definitely balled out and did his thing. I don't know if it was Hall of Fame worthy, but I mean, he was a really talented quarterback and played really well during his time with the Colts. But I wouldn't say he would should be in the the Hall of Fame, but yeah, Reggie Bush is definitely a hard no without question.
Okay, so the Hall of Fame, usually they have 4 to 8 players go in per year. Who do you guys think is the number one Hall of Famer on this list right now, in your opinion?
There's 4 of them.
Right, but who do you think is if you had to pick number one, who would you pick, the number one guy on here? So we got Marshawn Lynch, we got Julius Peppers, Marvin Harrison, Tony Gonzalez, Champ Bailey, and Dwight Freeney. Okay.
Marvin Harrison.
Wait, so Champ Bailey's not in the Hall of Fame yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Wow, I'm surprised by that. I am very, very surprised by
that he wasn't
I
first
thought
ballot.
he had already been elected into the Hall of Fame, but
We got to look into that, but it depends on who's elected that year. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Right.
It could be one of those.
That could certainly be a factor. Without question. I'd probably go Champ Bailey without when it's close between Marvin Harrison and Champ Bailey, but I'll go. I'll give the edge to Champ Bailey over Marvin Harrison.
I'm gonna go Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez.
Wait, he's on the list?
Yeah, he's on the list.
Oh,
he's on the list. Man.
Oh,
Dwight Freeney's on there too.
Oh, jeez, that's a stacked freaking list, man. Besides,
that's what I'm saying.
Like everybody else, definitely is without question a Hall of Famer. So it's like you can't go wrong with any of those guys in any of those names, as long as you don't say Andrew Luck or Reggie Bush.
Or Reggie Bush.
There's no wrong way or direction of going. So shoot, I thought Tony Gonzalez was already in there too, but like you said, John, it could be a year where there was a stacked list of Hall of Famers, and there were just more deserving Hall of Famers than him. But no, that's a good answer, John. I like that one. He would be on the top of my list, right behind Champ Bailey and Marvin Harrison.
That's a fact, man. Aaron Rodgers still rumored to want to leave the Green Bay Packers. The situation has divided the fan base, kind of like it did with the New England Patriots. The team owners still want him around. I mean, obviously, it's one of the best out there. And,
team president.
Jordan Love is doing good in OTAs, so I don't know if
he's throwing that ball well, huh?
Oh yeah, man, he's killing it out there.
Darts out there, man.
He's killing it in shorts and shirts. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He can really sling it, John.
Yeah, man. Julio Jones reportedly traded to the Titans in exchange for a second-round pick. Jones will need to pass the physical for the trade to go through. You guys surprised? You guys? Barry got his wish. I guess the Patriots didn't get Julio Jones.
I knew he wasn't coming here. I tried to tell y'all that. I knew he wasn't going to be here.
Is he the one making the decision, or is it because of the team gave up the second round?
I don't know, but the Titans were one of the first teams that came out when
showed interest.
Yeah, when they were talking about the Titans or the New England Patriots. Well, I don't think the quarterback situation with the Titans is the best either.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a guy like Tannehill,
Ryan Tannehill,
where they're not even letting him throw that much unless they're behind, and that's when they really throw a lot. But But you know what though? It's gonna open the running game. It's gonna open that running game, man.
And as if the running game's already not open with Derrick
At least
Henry.
it needs to be open.
Right, as if he needs any more help and assistance.
But it's gonna be even more open now because you're gonna be scared to leave. You're not gonna leave that man open.
Right, you're gonna double him at all times. Right, double coverage at all times.
So that's that playoff game where Derrick Henry wasn't getting anything. That's not gonna happen again.
Those days are over, huh?
At least that's what it's supposed to be on paper. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen in the game, but on paper, that running game is going to be wide open.
I mean, a lot of other teams actually were, not trying to trade for Julio Jones because they said the asking price was like too steep for them, right? Barry, what are your thoughts on that right there? With that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit surprised that he, went to, the Tennessee Titans. I thought he was going to go somewhere, like the San Fran 49ers or, the Ravens, a team that, definitely needed a top, elite receiver, on their team. But I think their cap, situations with both the Ravens and the 49ers were, pretty tight. And, I think that was pretty much the reason why they weren't able to, to get a deal done for Julio Jones. But, as far as him going to the Titans, I think, it's definitely a great move for the Titans. I mean, shoot, they got a as if their offense wasn't already scary, John and Vlad. Like, geez, like it's even much more scarier now because not only do you have, Julio Jones and Derrick Henry, but then you also have A.J. Brown who can ball as well. Let's not forget about A.J. Brown. That's a guy that I wanted the Patriots to draft, a couple of years ago. But instead, unfortunately, they drafted who, N'Keal Harry. Unfortunately so. But no, he's certainly a stud as well, and a definitely a top receiver in this game, and and he's still young, so I think he's gonna benefit even more because now he's gonna see favorable coverages towards him since defenses are gonna be mainly focused on stopping Derrick Henry and Julio Jones. So I think this was certainly a good move in good way for them to replace Jonnu Smith, because Jonnu Smith, was a big, target in a big part of that offense for, the Titans, last year. And I think, losing him, but still able to get like a big, target like Julio Jones, who's a physical specimen and can run any route and, can make plays on, at any part of the field is going to be, huge for that team. And I think that, they're certainly going to be, a contender, in the AFC without, question. It's crazy that he wanted to go there, to the Titans because, right, Ryan Tannehill's not the most efficient or, accurate, passer. And he was saying he wanted to go to a team with a big arm quarterback, that could throw the ball deep effectively. And we don't really see Ryan Tannehill as that. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe he can bring that side out of Ryan Tannehill and, he'll be, better quarterback and throw the ball better with Julio Jones. So, only time will tell with that. We'll have to see, what happens, with that, quarterback and receiver duo. But I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. And and we play the Titans this year too. I just remember the Patriots, so it's not going to be fun for our defense to go against them when we play them. But nonetheless, good move for the Titans, and and good move for Julio Jones going to a better situation in Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, a team like the Patriots didn't put a second rounder for him. After all, they did trade a second rounder for Mohamed Sanu just a couple of years ago. But we got to take into account that Julio, is often injured, and but when he's not injured, he's a monster out on the field and averages the most yards per catch than any other receiver in history right now. So we'll see what happens. Like you were saying, Ryan Tannehill is not the most efficient and most accurate quarterback, but hey, it's better to have Julio on the team than not on the team, right? So we'll definitely see how that goes right there. Fullback Dan Vitale is going to retire, so he will not be playing again.
He retired. He heard he got released, but I didn't know he retired from playing football.
Yeah, Geno Atkins, who was coming off a rotator cuff injury, is garnering some interest from teams around the league. So we'll see what happens with that. Some coaches refusing to take the COVID-19 vaccine. And because of that, the teams could lose their Tier 1 status by refusing the vaccine. What the hell does the Tier 1 status mean? I don't know. That's something I definitely need to look up. Well, what does that mean? It says here, some coaches refusing COVID-19 vaccine. Assistant coaches from at least 4 NFL teams could lose their Tier 1 status by refusing the vaccine. So I'm like, what's the Tier 1 status?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I'll have to do some more, research and, my homework on that, because I didn't really look that up or look into that, that much either. So I'm not really familiar with with that term.
Yeah, I mean, from what it seems like, a lot of the players are actually taking the vaccine. Bill
That's
Belichick
good.
was asked how many players on the team have taken the vaccine, and he declined to mention a number, but he said the number is growing. So it says that these guys are lining up, or at least guys are considering it. And I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm not swaying people to go get it or not to go get it, but just look into it for yourself. Lions are in talks with Todd Gurley. They've been in talks for about a week now. We'll monitor that situation. Dallas wants to keep Van Der Esch, the linebacker, despite other teams that are interested out there. 49ers.
I have the answer. So tier 1. So basically, if an NFL coach, so there's 4 NFL assistant coaches that are refusing to take the COVID-19 vaccine, and they will lose their tier 1 status. And losing their tier 1 status would mean that these coaches will be banned from the field, meeting rooms, direct interaction with the players.
Oh,
Wow.
That's huge.
And they're refusing?
Excuse me?
And they're refusing?
That's what it
to
says.
take the vaccine?
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. I didn't know it means that much. That is very significant.
That's a big stipulation.
Absolutely. I didn't know it was that severe, the punishment of not taking the vaccine. Wow,
if I was a smart guy, I'd say they're
crazy.
Being pushed to do this.
Right, exactly.
It's like,
they're trying to force him to take it, right?
Yeah, take this shit or else, man.
Yeah,
right. Or else you ain't gonna be around your team in any way, shape, or form. Right. And
I don't know if I should be proud of the guys that are like, hey, I believe in what I believe in and I ain't taking it, or say, yo, you're stupid as shit.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
That's crazy, guys. How would you feel if, like, I know if your job like forced you to take the vaccine? Like, that's unbelievable that they're really doing that to these coaches.
Luckily for me, I don't have to think about this because I already took it.
Are you making millions of dollars?
That's an important factor for sure. Let's say hypothetically, yes. Hypothetically.
Shit, you're making millions of dollars. People's life depends on this. I mean, I understand people don't want to take it, but I'm the one person to ask because I'm biased. Because I've been
vaccinated, man.
I've been about this vaccine since before it came out. I told you guys
since day one. Yeah,
since day one.
I wasn't about it, but before it became mandatory, I just decided, man, I'm gonna just do it. And my kid was going back to school, so I'm like, she's gonna be around a lot of people, you know what I mean? And I'm around my mom and stuff, so I'm like, just whatever, man. My mom actually asked me if I was being forced. I was like, who the hell gonna force me to do anything?
Right, you're a grown man. You can make your own decisions. Right?
What the hell?
No, I feel you. But if your job forced you, you would still take it. She may have thought your job was forcing you to take it.
I mean, if the job was doing it, it's like, listen, before my platform takes off, which is Pro Fan Sports, which is why you guys need to subscribe so we can take off. I can't quit my job yet. So the more you guys subscribe, the easier it will be for me to be like, hey, you guys, I ain't coming back here. So then I'll be making income off of this channel like we want to. So until that happens, until you subscribe, I will be forced to take stuff like the vaccine.
That is a big time fact, my friend. Yes, sir. No lies detected.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I feel you, man. I hear that.
No, but yeah, man, I take it. Like, come on, my mother's in healthcare, so they recommended she took it, so she took it and stuff like that. So, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
The 49ers hosted Delanie Walker for a workout after sitting out last year's season, and I'm surprised the Titans didn't try to get him back since they lost John Smith to the Patriots.
That's what I'm saying, because they don't really have a tight end. Right?
You don't have any
tight end.
They want to be Patriots of last year. except with two good receivers.
That's a good one.
Except with two good receivers and Derrick Henry. At
And
least they got those.
running back, exactly.
At least they got those. And a capable quarterback, too. So,
right.
At least they got those things going on for them.
Facts.
In Patriots news, man, the Patriots signed a receiver, not Julio Jones. They signed Marvin Hall. You asked for Julio, they signed Marvin Hall.
They did get a receiver.
They got a receiver.
Just
right?
not the receiver.
He's a speedster. He's a speedster. So
that's what I've been hearing. That he's got some wheels. He can move.
You ever go to Save-A-Lot and get Dr. Popper? And so
yeah. He's gonna speed his ass right off the roster. Like, fuck out of here.
Oh, dang, John. It's like that. That's how the speed's gonna work for him.
Right off the roster, bro. Like,
so in other words, a training camp body. In other words,
people were talking about he's like a Philip Dorsett. Philip Dorsett.
What?
What's that dude's name? He's like a Damian Beard or whatever his name is.
Damari Bird.
Damari Bird. Like, come on,
like,
man.
we don't need another one of those on the team. Like, come on, we need to do better than that. Like, what kind of standards are those? You're comparing those, a receiver to those two guys, like as if there was something.
I'm like,
as if they had, were really great receivers.
That's supposed to make me happy. Like,
right, exactly. As if we're supposed to get excited about that as fans, and and feel good that a guy like that's on the team. Right, when those guys weren't really that good and successful on the Pats when they were
to
here.
begin with, man.
Right. Unbelievable, John. Unbelievable.
Some more news with the Patriots, man. Last year we talked a lot about their quarterback situation, and how, he had a lot of situations, first of all, with the shortened off season, and then got COVID, and then the receivers sucked, and, he's working on his mechanics all through off season, and news came out of OTAs that Cam Newton hurt his hand during the OTAs and had to actually sit out, and, was doubled over one time. I'm sure, it's been overblown in the Boston media for the last, 24 to 48 hours. So Cam Newton's dealing with a hurt hand, but it was reported that he didn't break anything or tear anything, so he should be all right. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys have a heart attack?
No.
Nah.
Oh yeah.
Not at all.
It was like, put Mac in, dude. Like,
exactly right. More of an opportunity for Mac Jones to play. Right. Like, next man up.
We're so bad, man.
Next one.
Yeah, that's disrespectful to Cam Newton, man. I heard he was actually throwing pretty good before.
That's not how I reacted. I was just like, I saw it and it was like, it's a minor thing. I was like, whatever. Like, we've heard that before. Brady cut his hand. Or,
cut his thumb.
Yeah, I didn't.
Only thing is, Newton's not a Brady, so I don't know. Like,
no, facts, for real.
At first it was reported that they didn't say he hit anything. So I'm like, damn, he hurt his hand without like, hitting anybody or anything. I'm like, that's bad. But then they said he actually hit a lineman. And that happens in football all the time.
On the helmet, right.
On the helmets all the time. It doesn't happen too often, but it happens sometimes, and he'll be fine. And then Mac Jones had like
he'll be all right. He'll live.
Right. And Mac Jones had a compression gear on his calf/ankle during the OTAs as well, because he has a little situation there. But all in all, it sounded like, OTAs are going as is, and, people are doing what they're supposed to. It's OTAs, shorts and shirts. We'll report on anything.
Get back to me when training camp starts.
When they got the pads on and shit. We'll let you guys know about that.
That's true. That's true. So, but not looking forward to going to training camp. I don't know if you guys are gonna head down.
Wait, you're gonna go?
I'll be there.
I might have to go with you, man.
Cool, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Vlad,
Sports
you're
podcast
expected, Vlad. You're expected.
Yeah, come through, Vlad. Pull up.
I've been pretty busy, but hopefully by August I'm not. So if I'm not busy in August, then I'll definitely show up. I'm a big training camp fan, so.
Yo, I'm a big training camp
Yeah,
fan
me
too,
too. I
man.
love the training camps.
Yeah,
I go
yeah.
to one at least every year.
Especially at the gate, before you have to run in, before you trample over some old lady. Move, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, I'm trying to get a front row seat here.
10-year-old
Y'all gotta get out
boy,
of my
like,
way.
hell out of here, boy.
Right, like Stiff Arm, Heisman.
Nah, those places are fun, man.
Yeah,
And
it is a good time going. So I'm looking forward to, getting out there,
Yeah.
when our training camp starts.
Yeah, like we said, man, it's OTA, so there's not much going on around the league other than little minor moves here and there. We'll keep you guys updated on what's going on. We'll pivot into the MLB, let you know a little bit about the Red Sox. They had a 2-game series versus the Braves. They split that series 1-1. They had a 2-game series versus the Marlins, and they won 2-0. They had a 4-game series versus the Astros, which they lost 3-1. And then now they have a 3-game series versus the Red Sox. They're up 2-0.
Against the Yankees, you mean?
Yes, against the Yankees. Yeah, against the Yankees, and they're up 2-0. And the last game is being played on Sunday at 7 p.m. So hopefully they take that game too, because they're actually 1 game behind first place in the East.
Right, and hopefully they bring out the brooms and sweep those Yankees.
That's right.
In New York, right, in Yankee Stadium. That'd be awesome for sure.
That was for the first time.
Yeah, no.
This season.
Right, exactly. Right out of the gate. A nice little sweep to start that season series with the Yankees definitely would be, would be pretty awesome to, be able to see them do that. They struggled against the, Astros. And the Astros are a good team.
Are they still hitting trash cans?
Who knows, man? Who the hell knows? I mean, the managers, the coaches aren't there anymore, though they have, the core players who are there. So, I mean, who knows what they're doing. But nonetheless, even, with that being said, they're still a good, team. And, certainly show that they're, a better team than the Red Sox. The Red Sox have been playing well most of the season. Definitely thought like the offense really struggled, in that series. They struggled to score runs and to get anything going offensively. So, but, fortunately, they picked it up right at the right time against the Yankees, which is exactly what we want to see. They've been, playing well against the Yankees. They've been pitching well. Again, timely, hits, from guys like, Devers, and even Bobby Dalbec, who hit a bomb last night against the, Yankees. So they've definitely come up with, some big hits and some key, plays from those guys, as well. And hopefully they can continue that and, end the series with the sweep in New York and continue to play well, moving forward, since they're going to also be playing more tougher teams on their schedule. So, let's hope they can continue to, play well and, be consistent. I think that's what we want to see, is consistency from the Red Sox moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, the game, the series against the Astros, I believe they scored less than three runs in the 3 games that they lost, and the one that they actually won, they only scored 5 runs. So it was definitely a really very low scoring series. But again, man, hopefully we're on the up and up. After that, a little bounce back. Some of their upcoming games, they have a 1 game versus the Marlins, a 3-game series versus the Houston Astros. So maybe it's time to get that back in blood. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens there. 4-game series versus the Toronto Blue Jays, and then a 2-game series versus the Braves for the next couple of series that the Red Sox got going on right now. The NHL, where the Bruins are in the playoffs.
Yeah, Stanley Cup playoffs. Yeah,
that's right. Since the last pod, the Bruins took the series versus the Capitals 4-1, and then they're in the second round where they've played 4 games so far, and the series is tied 2-2. And 2 of those games have gone to overtime. That each team has won. So it's a hard-fought series, and this has the potential to go 7.
Yep.
Because it seems like they're going back and forth with the winnings.
Right. And I think that honestly, the Bruins are lucky that this series is tied 2-2 because the way they've been playing, recently for the last 3 games, since they lost game 2, I don't think they've been playing that well. They certainly, that was a careless turnover in overtime in game 2.
Defense, man.
Ill-advised, turnover. Bruce Cassidy said, that definitely wasn't a good decision, with the puck. That I think it was Jeremy Lauzon that was the one who turned the puck over and led to a breakaway goal, for the Islanders. And I think that's, giving them the confidence that they, needed and that, making them believe they can actually win this series and beat the Bruins. I think they've, since then, that point, they've played better than the Bruins. I think in game 3, both goalies were great. Tuukka was great. That goalie from the Islanders was also great and on his game as well. And, it was tough to, score goals against, either one of them since they were both on top of the game. And I think that that shot by Brad Marchand in overtime to win it was incredible. I was impressive.
That was like across the face, man. Like,
right, for real.
That was crazy.
Across the face with 2 defenders sitting like right there nearby, there where he wasn't near the puck to be able to make a play on it. And the fact that he was at that angle able to get the puck by them and get it on net and get it by the goalie and, and in the back of the net was definitely, was very impressive and, and unbelievable that he was able to, to score that goal. So, and they even stole that game from them because, the way they were looking in that third period and in that overtime, the Islanders were outplaying them, and I thought that the Islanders were going to end up winning that game. The Bruins were even lucky to come out with the win in that game because the Islanders looked like they were the better team and more aggressive and attacking the net and had the Bruins on their heels, to say the least, and Tuukka was standing on his head. So luckily we came out with the win in that game. And in game 4, it was just all Islanders. The Bruins got dominated and didn't play, well at all. And
the score 5-1?
No, 4-1. Yeah,
4-1?
But it was the same thing.
Same
it
difference.
Right. It was just pretty much a dominant performance by the Islanders, and they were just, the better team and, and I would have played them in every aspect of the game. I think, what's killing the Bruins is their defense. I think, being banged up on, the defensive end. I think they only have 5 guys, in their defensive, a rotation since, Carlo ended up getting hurt. I believe it was in game 3. He got that big hit to, the head that he had to, go off the ice and hasn't been able to come back. That certainly has been, has been a big loss for the Bruins because they haven't been able to recover from that. And also Kevin Miller, another defensive guy, being out and, still unknown when he's going to come back either, is, certainly I think those losses starting to come back to haunt them a bit. So hopefully, the defense can play better moving forward. Charlie McAvoy's doing his thing and playing great, but, the rest of those guys definitely need to step up and, and play better on that end of the ice, or else they may not even win this series if that's the case. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough series. I think this is going to go 7. I still think the Bruins will win this series, but they certainly need to play better on the defensive end of them and also be more physical as well and attack the net more because it looks like the Islanders have control of this series right now. So we'll see what the Bruins do in game 5 to respond to what the Islanders have done in the last couple games.
It's definitely been very physical series, man. We've
Yeah,
seen a lot of
absolutely.
big hits in these
Whew.
games, man.
Oh
And
yeah,
you
man.
know,
That's what playoff hockey's all about.
it's
That's why I love
exciting
playoff
hockey
hockey.
right now, man. And the goalies, man, the goalie for the
The
Islanders,
Islanders.
man. This dude, I'm like, holy shit, man. Sometimes he's just standing on his head out there, man. And you know, it's just making for a good series because both goalies at this point have been performing pretty
Right.
well. You know, other than the last game for Tuca and Bruins.
But I feel like
You
that
know,
was more on the defense, even though Tuca
for
didn't play
sure.
well.
For sure. You know, we'll keep you updated. Hopefully by the time we're on the next pod, the Bruins have moved on to another series. Hopefully for the Bruins, man. And, you know, we'll keep you updated there.
But how
And
you feeling? Do you still feel confident that the Bruins will win and come out of this series?
I mean, I said Bruins in 6. You know, now it's definitely going to be hard to win 2 games in a row the way that the game's been going, the way they've been playing. But I think if we can score early enough, you know, in the games, we could take the series in 6 games still. But I think anything happens. You know, with the way the games are going, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it goes 7 games. You know, to name a winner in this series. So we'll see what happens. And lastly, we'll go with the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week with Barry.
Yep. So thank you, John. So we have a individual for this week's B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week that did a really, generous and a very kind and a nice gesture this week that definitely impressed me and caught my attention. And the B Money Person of the Week would be Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith. So the reason why I'm giving him the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week award is because I'm sure you guys are familiar with the situation about what happened with John Morant's family and some of the Utah Jazz fans in Game 2 on how they were being verbally harassed, and the fans were using racial slurs and vulgar language towards John Morant's family. And since then, those fans that were saying those things have been banned from the Utah Jazz arena indefinitely, as they deserve to be. And not only that, but what was the impressive thing about the the response in that incident with the that from the Jazz organization is that the the owner decided to pay for the tickets to Game 5 of the Grizzlies Jazz series for John Morant's family. So they got courtside seats fully paid off, so they didn't need to spend anything. They paid for their hotel stay in Utah for the whole family's hotel, so didn't have to worry about that. And I believe they also got car service from the arena and back to the hotel, all paid for by the owner of the Jazz, Ryan Smith. And that was definitely pretty cool and pretty awesome for him to do that. For John Morant's family. And I don't know if you guys saw that clip with John Morant's dad and Donovan Mitchell, after the game in Game 5 when the Jazz, beat the, Clippers and eliminated them from the playoffs. But it was a nice, conversation he had with Donovan Mitchell, pretty much let him know that, he really appreciates the, gesture of the organization doing that for him and his family, and that that's the ultimate sign of respect, and that he he's rooting for the Jazz to to come out of the West and get to the finals, and and told Donovan Mitchell to keep killing it out there and doing his thing as he has been in the playoffs, like we previously stated in the NBA segment. So yeah, I think it's a great thing that Ryan Smith did. It shows that kind of class that he has, not only for himself but as an organization as a whole, for them to do that, because they certainly didn't have to, respond to that incident in that way, and and do that for John Moran's family. So I'm certainly glad that they were classy enough, and generous enough to be able to do that, and show that sign of respect to his family. So definitely big shout out to Ryan Smith and the Utah Jazz organization, as he is the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week this week, and that's definitely that B Money Lifestyle.
Yeah, man. Shout outs to that guy. He made sure the family was comfortable enough for them to lose. So that's what's up.
Right, I know. I wish it was a more competitive game, but I thought it was still pretty awesome for him to do that nonetheless.
Yeah, man. So that was episode 64, man. Until episode 65, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good week.
Peace. Have a good week, everyone. See y'all next week. And thanks, Max, for coming on the show. Appreciate you.
Subscribe.
Yep, subscribe to the channel and check out that interview with Max. Got some good content on there for y'all.